Okay, broskies, welcome back to the podcast slash channel slash waffle. It's a very kind of polarizing episode. I feel it's going to be a very exciting one for me because it's all opinion based, the sneaker game, as a lot of things are, you know, when you're spending money, buying things, paying for things. I actually came across the Complex episodes where they were mentioning S-tier TierAirMax, and this was so good, like probably one of the best segments they've ever had. Now, I don't really watch Complex or listen to Complex sneakers podcasts, but they are goated, don't get me wrong. You know, Joe LaPuma, Brennan Dunn, Matt, can't remember his last name, but yeah, they're very, very good at what they do. What they went on to say, which we're gonna have a look at very shortly. I'm not trying to be, you know, controversial. However, we just need to get into it. After that, we're actually going to touch on what makes a grail, because that is very personal as well. It's very opinionated. My grail might be someone else's, you know, beater, or vice versa, you know. So yeah, we're going to touch on that after we take a look at the Complex S tier. I don't know why I'm doing this like I'm Joey from Friends, but yeah, we are gonna talk about that because it was a very interesting topic segment. And the list, I don't know if you can argue with it, to be fair. Maybe swap out one or two, but yeah, let's have a quick butcher's hook. So there we go. Tinker the Winker Hatfield. Who knows where Nike would be, let alone Air Max, without this guy. Right, so we are obviously on their Instagram. I couldn't find it on the website just because I'm such a noob. So we are going to go onto the video next and just watch it. I'm not going to talk. We are going to just watch it very briefly. It's not too long.
The S tier of Air Maxes are Air Max 1, Air Max 95, Air Max 90, Air Max 97.
Can we put the Air Max Plus in there?
That's what I was gonna
Can
ask.
we put the TNs in there?
The Air Max Plus.
That's the one that's on.
That's S tier for me.
That's on.
Yeah, is that too many in the S tier?
But
How
I will
many
say,
is that?
I will
That's
say
six?
though,
That's 5.
I will say that out of all those though, that's the one that it's interesting because to some people that's the greatest Air Max of all time, but
Yes.
then to the maybe general audience, it's like on the edge of maybe being a little bit of a niche shoe.
Yes.
That's your favorite still?
My favorite Air Max model,
Yeah.
the TN? No, I've loved the Air Max 1 for longer.
Okay.
So I'll say Air Max 1.
All right, so I'm going to try and pause it on the video where it shows the list. Solid top 4, solid. But the whole controversy was about the TN. In terms of release, chronological releases, Air Max 1, 90, 95, 97, then TN. But in terms of popularity, I don't know if this is in order. I haven't watched a full episode, so I can't really say if it's ordered like that or it's just a list, you know. What I would say, the 97 is more on the edge than the TN, personally. Now, I know that is very, very like, bruh, like, did you just say that? But honestly, I know the 97 is a staple shoe and one of my goats as well. Don't get me wrong, Silver Bullets, heavily in a rotation. I just don't know if it's better than the TN. I don't know, like, because, all right, we can talk about colorways versus colorways, but I'm talking popularity now. The TN, technically the OG colorways, you know, the Royal, Hyper Royal, the Tiger Pimento, and the Voltage Purple. I'm not going to lie to you. All three of them look better, possibly, than any Air Max 97 that I can think of at the top of my head. 97s, come on, man. Amazing shoe. I'm not saying that. It's just, I feel the TN may be better or is better than the 97 for me. The 90 is obviously my favorite Air Max. Also, the 95 is a close second, tied third, first, if you will, just because I wear the 95 the most out of every Air Max. The Air Max 1, come on, I don't even need to talk. It's just, if you're ranking S tier Air Max, I feel the TN definitely needs to be in there, which I feel Joe and Brennan did agree on that. But I still feel it's better than the 97. Because the TN, man, even though it's got such a cult following and it's a very popular shoe in a lot of countries like Australia, even in the UK, you know, like the TN is probably more popular than the 97, I'd say. I don't know if there's anything else I would add to this, just because I don't think you can. Like, nostalgia aside, I don't think the 180 is better, just because it's very sporadic, you know, like it's not around like the Air Max 1 and 95 and 90 and even the 97, you know, like it has its moments, these pockets of moments, but it's never around long enough. And I don't think it has that much of a following compared to these and the TN, you know, so I don't think the 180 could make it. I'm only probably saying that because I missed the latest drop, so no, I'm not. It's just how I feel, you know. The BW, I kind of feel like it's sort of the same as the 180 in terms of it has its moments, but it's never stayed around like these, for example. So can you pull it there? I'd say it's just behind these 5. The 98, again, I love the Gundam, like one of the best colorways ever on Air Max, but it's never around, bro. Where's the 98? Come on, Nike, sort us out. 98s need to make a comeback, you know? The 270 though, maybe in 5 years time, that might be making this list, bro, because I think that's one of the most popular Air Max ever, in my opinion, in terms of like how many people wear them and buy them. But honestly, like top of my head, the ones that sort of come close to this S tier is the BW, 180, 98. And 3 of them, I don't think make this list, just because the least amount of popularity compared to these, plus they're not around like these. Like you can go to any JD, any Foot Locker, any sort of retail shop, and they'll have at least a colorway or 2 of these sneakers plus the TN. So I can't really think of any other sneaker that makes it. It's just, I wanted to touch on the 97 being a staple place on this list compared to the TN. That's the whole bit of controversy that I'm sort of picking up on. I do rank the TN or Air Max Plus in there ahead of the 97. However, it has to be a top 5. I don't think you can take the 97 out just because of what it's done for the culture, you know, Silver Bullets and the Sean Wotherspoons and every other, you know, colorway I can't really think of at the moment. Very popular shoe. Very popular shoe. But broskies, let me know down below what you think about this S tier complex list, whether it is correct what they're saying, the TN just edges it, or shouldn't be in there, or should be in there, should it be ahead of the 97 like I'm saying. Leave that all down below. Now, very similar to ranking these shoes, the next segment is all about what makes a Grail a Grail. And for me, there's so much that goes into it. Like, it's not just one of those things where, oh, I really want that shoe, I'm gonna go get it, that's a Grail. There's more to it. There's a lot more to it, because personally, there's like a criteria, and it's all, you know, person to person. It's very personal. I feel a lot of what makes a Grail comes down to possibly nostalgia. Like, say you're a kid, you grew up idolizing these shoes, or like looking at these shoes on everyone's feet, not knowing what they were as a kid, but then you grow up, you kind of understand, you get into the sneaker game or being a fan of shoes and sneakers, and then you're finally able to buy your own shoes and make money or pocket money, whatever it is, and you're able to buy your Grail because of the shoes you used to see as a kid. Now that was kind of like me. Like, I used to always see my brother and sister, my older brother and sister, always had like the sickest crepes shoes, sneakers. The 180s, my brother used to always wear. Huaraches, Air Max 1s, obviously, that was like the staple shoe they always both used to wear, the Air Max 1 and the Air Max 90. Like, I remember the 90 was very popular at the time growing up, obviously in the 90s. However, my first Air Max was the BW. You're always going to have that affection to your Grails or your shoes because of nostalgia, what it means to you. It's like music. I always sort of refer to sneakers sort of like music, because say you have your favorite artist or your favorite album from your favorite artist, and it takes you back to a moment, whether it is like a breakup or, you know, just getting that new job or an interview or just a holiday with your mates. That song and album is always going to be triggering those emotions. And I feel like That's what sneakers are. You're always going to remember when you bought them, how you bought them, what you was wearing when you first wore them in terms of outfits, and also the sort of feeling they gave you. Like, I'm the man, I'm the girl, like, yeah, I've just got these new shoes. Or, you know, people asking you, where'd you get those? Oh, they're cool, you know, all these sort of things. You know, the feeling of not being able to get it, but being able to admire it from afar. Sometimes that can fall into what a Grail is to you. And to me, that's what it means with certain shoes. Now, there are certain Grails like the Air Max 90 Infrared, the 2020 release. That was one of my Grails, whether I missed out or not, I was always going to get them. Whether I paid 200, 250, 300 is pushing it. But I mean, it's one of those sneakers I had to, just because of nostalgia. You just need that sneaker, that Grail. You know, that's what a Grail is. You just need it. And sometimes your bank is telling you no, but your bank sometimes can tell you yes, depending on the market and the value. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into what makes a Grail a Grail. Some are attainable, some are unattainable. Like some people's Grails are Travis Scott ones. Are you going to be spending $1,000 on them? I don't think I would personally. And also your Grail doesn't have to be a retro. Like it really doesn't. It can be a recent release. It's one of those things like when you know, and a Grail can be something you've got. A Grail can be something you can't get, like I've said already, but most of the time it is a retro, but it doesn't have to be. So the three things I kind of feel what makes a Grail, kind of tie that into two, like nostalgia and attachment. Also, it may be if it's attainable or unattainable, because you can have a Grail that you have, but you could also have a Grail that you're never going to get or you don't think you're ever going to get. And the third thing, I feel like it's the feeling that sneaker gives you. Like everyone has those sneakers or that sneaker that makes you feel a certain way if you've got it on or if you're in the presence of it. Now that could mean seeing someone with them on. Like there's been a few times that I've seen sneakers that are one of my Grails or like on the hit list, and I've had to stop that person like, bro, those are sick. Like I kind of rank that in there too, because you just can't help it. Like the aura of a shoe, like shoes have auras too, you know, bro. It's not just people. What do you think, broskies? Because I am sort of rambling on now. What do you think makes a Grail a Grail? Is it sort of the price tag? Is it the popularity? Is it nostalgia? Is it attachment? Like all these things. Let me know down below what you think makes a Grail a Grail. But yeah, just a quick sort of episode. Wanted to touch on what Complex Sneakers spoke on. The TierAirMax list was a very interesting topic and sort of debate. Also, this whole Grail talk, I was just sort of thinking of my backlog of planned episodes for the podcast. Never really got around to doing this one. So yeah, I tied it into two. Now, if you've got any other topics you do want me to touch on, comment them down below as well. Don't forget to like, comment, share, all of that good stuff. Until the next episode, take care.